Welcome to the latest video on the Movie Mammoth channel. Another Game of Thrones centric one though, don't you guys worry. As this finale ended, I realized I just had too many thoughts on Game of Thrones still, and I am just not done. So I thought I'd put together this video, which is going to be sort of a state of the houses around Westeros in Game of Thrones world. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the one you guys all want. The Starks. The beginning of this season, the Starks were kind of in limbo. I mean, we still had Jon, who was dead. Just straight up dead. Like, who knows what's going to happen there. Sansa had just jumped over the walls of Winterfell, while was still very close to the clutches of Ramsay Bolton. Bran was up in that tree, doing something in that tree. We were going to find out what he was going to learn in there. And Arya was over in Braavos, and it hadn't gone to shit yet. We hadn't seen Rickon in a long time, and Benjen was still out, who knows where, maybe dead. But by the end of this season, let's just go ahead and start with Jon, because Jon had plenty this season. Jon came back from the dead. He did it, and he didn't seem as changed as some of us may have wanted. I'm still kind of hoping that's to come. But Jon had a huge season. He killed Ollie. He killed Alistair Thorne. He quit the Night's Watch. He reunited with his sister Sansa. Now, I'll grant you, it's not the sister I want to see him reunited with, but at least he actually got some kind of family, which he hadn't had in just so long, and really his entire life. But Jon was able to connect with the wildlings and rally somehow to his cause, houses like House Mormont. The Mormonts also had a huge rejuvenation this season. After Lord Commander Mormont died and Jorah was diagnosed with grayscale, we didn't really have anyone to clasp onto. I mean, Jorah was sent off to find a cure, and we haven't seen him since, and hopefully he will. But then we got Lyanna Mormont. Easily, I think I can say this, the best new character this season of Game of Thrones. Lyanna stole every scene she was in, every second she was in those scenes, which wasn't very much, and still left a huge mark. So I'm so glad she is united with the Starks and with the North, and we can see more of her. Jon, though, had to win the battle for Winterfell, something the Starks hadn't been able to see or hadn't been able to control in so long. It had been under those Ramsay Bolton flags after Ramsay killed his father, Roose, and then it was just all Boltons and Starks, and it became the Battle of the Bastards in one of the most electric and gruesome episodes of the entire series, and one of the best of the season by far. Jon was able to win that battle, but not without the help of Sansa Stark. Sansa Stark also had a huge season this year. Plenty of speculation about her pregnancies, which I think are completely ridiculous, but most importantly, she finally met up with Brienne. Brienne had that sense of accomplishment of finally completing her mission and having something to work for the rest of her life. And Sansa has someone to watch over her, because she needs a babysitter at this point still. Anyway, Sansa was able to kind of talk to Littlefinger throughout the season and learn hopefully a little bit more about how to deal with him. Not too much, though. She did push away that kiss, but he still has that power to manipulate. As we see with the always scheming Littlefinger, I'm sure he'll have something up his sleeve to try and maybe split Jon and Sansa down the middle. I mean, he's already started in on the work this last episode, and if that happens, that would really hurt the Starks, I'll tell you what. But hopefully Sansa can keep everything in focus and not let her ambition get the best of her. But Sansa brought in the Knights of the Vale and helped Jon win the Battle of Winterfell, even though it cost the lives of thousands of people in that battle, and he didn't even seem to care. But they both got back their ancestral home of Winterfell and put down the Starks' banners, something that felt so great after seasons and seasons of that just being a dung heap of Boltons and grossness and awfulness. It was so great to see them back. Sansa even got her revenge on Ramsay, something that I don't think was entirely good for her character. He really has become a part of her. He really has turned her cruel a little bit. Just that smile as she walked away. It'll be interesting to see which way Sansa goes from here on out, but I could see her going either way. We also got a reintroduction to Bran this season, who looks much better, much older, and much less pimply, but he learned all sorts of stuff with the three-eyed raven underneath the tree. We got to see plenty of children in the forest, and most importantly, we got R plus L equals J. That was the big takeaway from Bran this season, other than the fact of Hold the Door and Hodor, which was heartbreaking to see and kind of his fault. We got to see finally the confirmation of Jon Stark's parentage. Whether it be Jon Targaryen or Jon Stark, we finally get some kind of solidification on that theory, which was fantastic. And hey, Bran didn't die, and hey, Bran's even more close to the wall, close to being back in Westeros. So we'll just have to see where he goes from there. But if you're Stark making it through the season, that's pretty good, considering the next Stark is Rickon, who was reintroduced this season, had 0 lines, had his shaggy dog direwolf killed, and then was shot in an arrow because he didn't know how to serpentine. Kind of sad to see, but honestly, he's cannon fodder anyways, and we need him off the board at this point for the next 2 seasons. So, sorry, Rickon. Jon tried his best, but Sansa knew what was happening to you from the very beginning. We also got a lot more Arya, obviously. She was in Braavos, and at this point at the start of the season, her storyline wasn't complete shit yet. As the season went on, it went steeply down a muddy hill into a ravine of nothingness and confusion. She started off blind and learned how to daredevil fight, which is helpful, I guess, if it gets really dark when the White Walkers invade, I don't know. And then there was just so many things, like the waif being a terrible assassin and not really being no one at all, and Arya not really being no one, but her being able to drink the water to prove she was no one. And now she's out of Braavos because she killed the waif, gave her his face. She's back in fucking the twins out of nowhere, and she killed Walder Frey. So, seeing as this is Arya's actual storyline now, she's the most powerful person in Game of Thrones, I think. I don't think there's anyone she can't kill. It's pretty crazy to think that just learning how to stick fight in the dark can make you the most perfect assassin ever, and make it so no one notices you, even all the kitchen staff, everyone, when you're baking pies out of people, and everyone in the room that Walder Frey was in just left so you could slit his throat. Why would they ever leave their lord alone in the hall like that? But whatever. Arya's alive, and most importantly, she's back in Westeros, and she's kind of close to the Riverlands. And you know who's running around the Riverlands right now? That's right, Nymeria! Nymeria's still out there, supposedly with this big pack of wolves, and Arya could easily meet back up with her at some point, which would just be amazing to see. Last on our Stark list, Benjen Stark is back. Benjen Coldhands returned as a Cold Hands Ex Machina to save Bran's life when all the Whites were after him after the tree was burned down. And that was pretty much it. He got a cool moment of draining a rabbit of its blood and having Bran drink it. And then he had a really just quiet moment of him, I'll do everything I can for as long as I can. And that's just, it's great to see grown men back on Game of Thrones. We haven't got much of that since all the father figures have been dying off throughout the seasons. He's one of the best. Hopefully we can see more of him. Although, maybe when that wall comes down, he'll be able to travel south and meet up with everyone else. But the Starks had a fantastic season altogether. I mean, sure, they lost one of their brothers and another direwolf. And another direwolf. They lost Bran's as well. I've completely almost forgot. But most importantly, they retook Winterfell, and they united the northern houses. They have Lady Mormont on their side, which is what everyone wants. And Jon is now king in the north, even though he's still a bastard. So the Starks couldn't have had a much better season, and the state of the Stark house is well and good right now, as long as that wall stays up. Moving forward, the Starks are going to have plenty of obstacles in their way. Littlefinger wants that Iron Throne. He's not going to be happy about a united North. He's already whispering little things in Sansa's ear. Not to mention, Cersei's back on the Iron Throne, and she wants Sansa's head. So they'll be coming for her. They're basically in open rebellion again now that they've united and made a king in the North. So they're going to have to fight the Lannisters all over again. Who knows what side Jaime's on, but the Starks have plenty of enemies in the South. And I'm not even mentioning the enemies in the North. They better hope that wall stays up as long as it does, because if that wall comes down, they're going to be basically in the middle of two enemies who want their heads. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. At least they got their house back. They got some of their siblings reunited, and Arya's back in Westeros. So there's a chance next season that we could have every living Stark under the same roof again. And what a sight that would be. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Who's your favorite Stark? Who would you want to see reunited next with Jon and Sansa? Do you guys think Sansa could actually turn on Jon? I don't know. It's becoming more and more possible every day. And she's pretty crazy as it is. So we'll just have to see how the Starks do. I'll be putting up another video on the house states for the other houses of Westeros. So keep an eye out for that. Till then, you can watch my latest review of Independence Day Resurgence, or you can watch the latest Game of Thrones power rankings from this week's episode, The Winds of Winter. Don't you guys worry, I'll have plenty more Game of Thrones stuff because I just can't stop, and there's going to be plenty of months in this off-season till the next season. Thank you so much. Subscribe if you want to. Leave a like. It really helps out my videos. I don't understand it any more than you do, but apparently it does. And have a good day. Anyways, that's me, Movie Mammoth, headed on out. See you later.